You know that amazing idea you've got buzzing around in your head? Well, it's not quite a story yet. It's a spark. Today, we're going to open up the Creator's Toolkit and show you exactly how to build that spark into a roaring fire. A whole story, piece by piece. Right? This is the big question. It's the one that can feel so huge it stops us from ever even starting. But here's the secret. You don't begin with some giant, complicated plot. Nope. You start with something way smaller and, honestly, a lot more important. A single person. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to craft the heart of our story, that central character. Then, I'll introduce you to an incredible tool called the Story Mountain. We'll talk about the climb up to the peak, and then, of course, the journey back down to the end. Sound good? Let's go. Think about it. Before any adventure can kick off, before any problem even exists, you need someone for it to happen too. So that's exactly where we start, with a person who's going to be the eyes and ears for your audience, guiding them through the world you're about to create. Now, in storytelling, we usually call this person the hero. But don't worry, they don't have to wear a cape or save the world. A hero is just the main character, the person your audience is going to follow and hopefully connect with. They're our window into the entire story. So, how do we make this hero of ours feel like a real, breathing person? Well, we start with the basics. And these aren't just random details. They're the building blocks of a believable human being. Just by answering these simple questions, you're already starting to bring your character to life. Okay, first things first, what do they look like? Are they tall, short? Do they have a funny scar above their eyebrow, or maybe bright pink hair? These little visual details are the very first things that help your audience picture them. Next up, what's their job? What do they do all day? I mean, a starship captain is going to see the world in a completely different way than a librarian, right? Their job shapes their skills, their daily life, and how they see everything around them. And what about their clothes? Clothing is like a secret shortcut to their personality. A perfectly tailored suit tells a very different story from a scuffed-up leather jacket. It's visual storytelling before they've even said a single word. All right, now for the really fun part. Getting inside their head. What do they absolutely love? And what do they just hate? These passions and pet peeves are what create personality. They drive their decisions. And trust me, they can become a massive source of conflict down the road. A name can say a lot. Doesn't the name Serafina just feel different from, say, Barb? You want to make sure their name feels like it actually fits the person that you're building. And finally, where do they live? Where do they hang out? It's got to make sense. You probably wouldn't find a deep-sea diver living in the middle of a desert. Their environment should feel like their natural habitat, a place that has helped shape them into who they are. Okay, awesome. You've got a character. But now we need to give them something to do, a journey. And you know what every good journey needs? A map. So let me introduce you to what might be the single most useful tool for plotting your story, the Story Mountain. This is so important. A story isn't just a random list of things that happen. It needs a structure, a backbone. The order of events is everything. It's what turns a simple sequence into an emotional experience that grabs your audience and just refuses to let go. And this is it. This is the Story Mountain. It breaks pretty much any story down into 5 simple stages. And once you see this pattern, I promise you'll start seeing it everywhere, from Hollywood blockbusters to your favorite books. Why? Because it works. It taps into that natural rhythm of tension and release that we all find so addictive. All right, let's start our climb. This first part of the journey is all about setting the scene, pulling your reader into the world, and slowly, carefully, building the tension that's going to lead us right to the story's biggest moment. Every journey has to start somewhere, right? In storytelling, we call that the opening. This is basically your promise to the reader. It's your first, best chance to hook them and set the mood for everything that's about to happen. So this is where we finally meet that hero we just spent all that time building. The opening quickly tells us who we're following, where they are, and when all this is happening. It grounds the audience right away and gives them someone to root for from the get-go. So as we keep climbing that mountain, we're in the build-up. This is where you start to raise the stakes. You might introduce some new characters, drop a few clues, create little problems. Every scene is another step up that mountain, designed to make the reader lean in and just have to know what happens next. And here we are, the peak. This is it, the most exciting, intense part of the whole story. Your hero comes face to face with our biggest challenge yet, a massive problem, a huge conflict, or an impossible choice. Everything we've been building has been leading to this one critical moment. We've hit the peak, we've taken in the view, and now it's time for the journey back down. This side of the mountain is all about dealing with the fallout from that peak moment and finding a path to the end of our story. You know how after a big storm, things start to clear up? Well, after the big problem, we get the resolution. But this isn't just the final answer appearing out of nowhere. It's the beginning of the character's struggle to make things right again. It's where they start figuring out how to solve that massive problem from the peak. And this is crucial. The resolution can't just be an accident. Your hero can't just stumble upon the solution. They have to earn it. They've got to fight for it, think their way through it, and struggle to overcome that obstacle. This is where we really see what they're made of. And finally, we make it to the bottom of the mountain. This is the conclusion. The main problem is solved, any big questions are answered, and we get to see what the new normal looks like for our hero. It gives the audience that wonderful, satisfying feeling of a story well told. So there you have it. You've got the tools to build a person, and you've got the map for their journey, the character building blocks, and the story mountain. That's all you need to start. So the only real question left is, what story are you going to build first?